Looking back, last year was kind of a weird year. Along with the virus, the year was packed with some pretty significant and sometimes controversial events. We started the year with the inauguration of our 46th president. By July, we saw the 32nd Summer Olympics resume in Tokyo after being postponed. And by year end, we were all still battling with the virus as if almost no progress was made, with travel restrictions, lockdowns, and mandates all over the world. Interestingly though, even amidst a pretty challenging year for a lot of us, the uber wealthy thrived and continued to buy luxury real estate hand over fist. With the S&P 500 soaring 27% in 2021 and home values rising by around 20%, those that did have their money invested last year saw their net worths grow in a big way. In today's video, we are going to look at some of the biggest luxury real estate sales that happened last year, because there was no shortage of millionaires and billionaires willing to spend big money on real estate, that's for sure. For each one of these sales, we're gonna look at things like who bought the house, who sold the house, and just why some of these houses are so dang expensive. Surprisingly, every one of the top 10 sales of last year came out of just 3 states. So let me know down in the comments below before we go any further if you can guess what those 3 states are. First up on our list today is a $157 million apartment deal in Manhattan at 220 Central Park South, which is one of the most prestigious condo towers in the city. Technically, the buyer picked up 3 total apartments in the building: the 60th floor unit, the 61st floor unit, and then an 18th floor studio unit. We don't know the seller of any one of these 3 apartments, but that's not super surprising because it's very common for buyers in these ultra luxury towers in New York to keep their names completely anonymous. The buyer, on the other hand, was not so lucky to keep his name private. It was revealed that the Alibaba co-founder Joe Tsai is the buyer behind this $157 million package apartment deal. This is kind of a fitting place for Joe Tsai to buy, considering that he's also the owner of the Brooklyn Nets basketball team, and 220 Central Park South is only like 35 minutes away from where the Barclays Center is, where the Nets play in Brooklyn. Plus, he can definitely afford it. As of the last report, his net worth was $9 billion. Next up, we head to the West Coast to look at an $83 million home sale in the Pacific Palisades that is loaded with amenities. This 20,000 square foot home was built in 2020. It has 6 bedrooms, 18 bathrooms, and it's sitting on about an acre of land. It's got views as far as you can see, and the place is super tech forward. It's got a retractable roof over the master bedroom, and you need to use a James Bond style retinal scanner to even get into the master bedroom. The seller of this monster estate was a famous Los Angeles luxury real estate developer named Artie Tavangarian. He bought the home in 2013 for about $7 million before building this crazy spec home in his place. I am still always surprised by these luxury real estate developers out in LA who have the guts to build spec homes of this caliber, but clearly this has paid off yet again for Artie. I estimate he made about $20 million on this deal. The buyer of this home is a story in and of itself, and I think it'll make us all question what we're doing with our working life. His name is Austin Russell, and get this, he is a 26-year-old billionaire. Yes, you heard that right. Billionaire with a B. This kid created a company called Luminar, which is a self-driving autonomous company who's completely rethinking the way that self-driving technology works in cars. When the company went public last December, Austin Russell became a billionaire overnight, and nowadays his net worth is estimated to be close to $2 billion. The neighborhood that he bought into in the Pacific Palisades is a very private and ritzy area called the Riviera neighborhood. Just for reference, his new neighbor in there is a $26 million home where Tom Hanks lives. Going back to New York, we have a pair of properties that Calvin Klein sold in the Hamptons last year for $85 million. Here there was the main residence, which sold for $75 million, and then the neighboring property also was sold for an additional $10 million, which was just a vacant 1.6 acre plot of land, which Calvin Klein presumably owned just for privacy. At the time that this one closed over the summer, this transaction marked the most expensive real estate sale of the year. This waterfront home was located at 75 West End Road in the East Hamptons, which is the easternmost town in the state of New York that's bordered by the Atlantic Ocean to the south. A company called Tramhouse One LLC was the buyer of this pair of properties. The company was incorporated in March of 2021 and is registered in New York, New York. This East Hampton area is incredibly expensive, and for good reason. It's been a getaway for rich people from the busy city of New York for decades, and because of that, billionaires and celebrities love to call this region home, especially during the warm summer months. Now back over to the West Coast, but this time to Malibu to talk about an $87 million beachfront home that closed back in February. This place is in a part of Malibu called Paradise Cove, and there's actually 2 houses that were included in the sale on this one, with a total of 7 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms. The seller of this home was somebody named Diana Jenkins. She made her millions creating a swimwear line, a health drink company, and running a music label. Diana bought this home back in 2005 for just $21 million, meaning that after enjoying the home for about 15 years, she's gonna be walking away with about a $50 million profit. The buyer on this one is Jan Joom, who is the co-founder of the app WhatsApp. Jan must really love the area because he also bought the house immediately next door back in 2019 for $100 million. Pretty much all of Malibu real estate is expensive, but this specific Paradise Cove pocket is even more expensive. As of the last report, Paradise Cove was actually the most expensive neighborhood in Los Angeles County, even more than Bel Air, Beverly Hills, and Brentwood Park. Now zooming over to Florida, we have 2 homes that sold in an island community called Manalapan, one going for $90 million and the other one going for $94 million. I actually hadn't heard much about this Manalapan area before. I might not even be pronouncing it right, to be honest, but it's a pretty ritzy part of the country. It's technically located in Palm Beach County, and it's just a tiny 2.4 square mile beachside community adjacent to the Lake Worth Lagoon, the Boynton Inlet, and the Atlantic Ocean. The seller of the $90 million home was a hedge fund founder, Paul Sanders, and the seller of the $94 million estate was the family of media pioneer William Ziff Jr. That $94 million house is located at 2000 South Ocean Boulevard, and it was originally listed for $195 million back in 2016, but I guess they were priced too high even for this area because the price was slashed almost every year until it ultimately sold in March of 2021. It's a beautiful estate and massive at 62,000 square feet, but I think it takes a unique person to be willing to spend this amount of money on a home with this kind of style and a place that's this big. I mean, it's got 33 bedrooms, and it's sitting on a 36-acre lot. Sticking to the Florida theme, we've got a pair of homes that sold in Palm Beach last year, one which went for $95 million and another that went for $123 million. The seller of the $95 million home is a guy named Chris Watkins. He is the grandson of a famous clock creator, and he made millions running Simplex time recorder company prior to selling it in 2001. Watkins built this 28,000 square foot home that he had lived in for the past 20 years, and he enjoyed being neighbors with people like Bill Gates and Tiger Woods. The other Palm Beach home that sold last year for $123 million was actually a spec home that was built on a lot that was previously owned by Donald Trump. Trump wasn't the one who sold this estate though. It was an LLC called 535 North County Road LLC, which is managed by a home builder named Mark Pulte. It's always fascinating to me how tough it can be sometimes to find the buyers and sellers of these luxury homes, because they try to just be so mysterious sometimes and hide their identities. Our broker Ryan Serhant represented the buyer on the deal, the buyer who was named 535 NCR Land Trust. That's a new Delaware registered company, and again, it's not 100% clear at this time who's behind the trust. Anyways, the home was originally listed for $140 million. It's got about 18,000 square feet sitting on over 2 acres of land with 9 bedrooms, 13 bathrooms, a pool, a glass staircase, a movie theater, and a wine cellar. Wrapping up our list, we have another Paradise Cove property in Malibu that just traded hands this past November, and this was the largest single property sale of the year at $177 million. Mark Andreessen was the buyer of this one. He runs a venture capital firm in Silicon Valley, and Mark's original claim to fame is when he sold Netscape to AOL in 1998 for $4.2 billion, but he has since had success with other big ventures like Instagram, Oculus, and a crypto fund. The home has about 10,000 square feet of living space, plus 2 guest houses spread out over 7 acres along the Malibu coast. The home was never officially listed for for sale, so not much for photos on this one, but after going down the research rabbit hole like I do, I found the old Zillow listing of the house that showcases the grounds, the views, and what some of the older structures on the property look like. Google Earth is a pretty amazing tool though. You guys who have been following me a while know I love to use this to get a good perspective of properties. You can see the main house perched here close to the beach and really far away from the main road. Then the guest houses and gardens are acting as a really nice barrier from Pacific Coast Highway. All these properties along this stretch of beach actually have that same type of format, with them being kind of narrow lots but really long and skinny, with long driveways from PCH that lead to the main house by the water. If you guessed the 3 states for the most expensive sales of last year to be Florida, California, and New York, congrats, you nailed it. Here's a map with some pins showing where the priciest sales of last year were located. Pretty fascinating how concentrated they all were to just a few areas. In total, we covered 9 total sales on the list today, which amounts to $978 million in total volume, which is just mind-boggling. I pulled these stories from all over the internet, but I want to give a shout out to an article that Forbes did, which summed up the list really well. Check this article out if you want to see more information on any one of these houses, and they actually include a few others that we didn't get into today. If you enjoyed this video today, guys, if you could hit that thumbs up button down below, that really helps me out a lot. And also, I just want to give a shout out to everybody who showed me some love last week. I've been feeling kind of under the weather, so I missed my Friday upload. That was the first upload I missed in a long time, and I felt horrible about it, but I really appreciate all of your guys' support. Anyways, hit that subscribe button if you guys are not already a subscriber, because I'm putting new videos out every week. But that's all I've got for you this time, so until next time, see ya.